The second section of ROA data collection is the sports section. In this area, you'll be providing us information on each specific sport within your athletic department. Similar to the institution section and to the student section, at the top you see the ability to upload your spreadsheet, download the template, or navigate to the template instructions. Additionally, you see the academic year in which you're reporting, and you have the drop down for all the different sports that are collected or data can be collected upon in ROA. So let's start with, say, your men's basketball team. There are 5 categories of information that you're reporting within the sports section for each sport. The first is sport revenue, and these are revenues that are attributed to a sport that are outside of institutional tuition, room, and board revenues. So these are things like program sales, fundraising dollars. For example, if your men's basketball team runs a camp and generates some revenue off of that, those are the types of things that would be reported in the sport revenues area. Recruiting expenses are expenses that are monies that are spent by your coaches to recruit student athletes. For some institutions, this is hard to break away from operations. If you cannot, that's fine. You can leave this category 0, but do include those dollars in your operation expenses. However, it is recommended to include those dollars if possible. The personnel expenses is a fairly simple category. What this is looking for is it's looking for the salary information of the coaches that are part of that sport program. The next field is operation expenses. In operation expenses, you're providing the dollars that were spent for operation of that sport. So, for example, hosting home games, traveling to away games, traveling to neutral site games, paying for officials, etc. Those are the types of things that would be included in operation expenses. The last is postseason expenses. These are expenses specific to NAIA championship postseason. So that means NAIA opening rounds and NAIA final sites. Any conference tournament expenses should be included in the operations expenses. Let's take a quick look at the template. And as you look at the sports tab in the template, you see this long list of every sport that's offered within ROA Insights. And you also see this line for general athletics. This general athletics line is meant to catch expenses and revenues that aren't attributed to a specific sport but are part of the athletic department. So an example of something that would fall under general expenses are personnel expenses related to your sports information directors, your athletic trainers, your athletic administrators that aren't part of a sports program. And additionally, the revenues and the expenses related to that category would fall under those same types of roles on your campus. Another common question we get are specific to some campuses not dividing sports like cross country or golf or tennis by gender. We do ask you to report by gender in ROA Insights, and what we recommend that you do at a minimum is to at least divide those expenses 50-50 between the two programs. Some institutions choose to go a step farther. For the example of men's and women's cross country, they may know that 2/3 of their runners are men's cross country runners and 1/3 are women's cross country runners, so they might divide those expenses and revenues 2/3, 1/3. But we do ask you to divide them so that you have at least some form of expenses and revenues, should that sport have gotten any in that given year, reported within the template and within the forms. So let's show the template upload again. You click the upload your spreadsheet, you select the file, and you navigate to the proper Excel spreadsheet on your desktop or in your folder structure. You click the upload button, the wheel will spin, and once you navigate to a sport that is offered in your athletic department, so here's beach volleyball, men's basketball updated once I moved over one, you can see the expenses and revenues that were reported for that sport. If it's a sport you don't have, it will just show up as $0 expenses. So I always like to go through and check these just to make sure they're accurate, and once I've done that, you click Save and Return, and you've successfully completed the sports section.